Hi everybody. Happy Sunday. This is not the card that I had planned to do today, but we're going to pivot. I can't find the pieces I cut for my other card, so, and let me see if I can get my iPad. There we are. Turn the volume off on that. All right, here we go. What I'm using today is a suite from the January online exclusives. These are products that don't show up in the catalog just online. They only show up online. And this is what I've already done, a one sheet wonder using this set. Let me show you. This is a set we're using. This is called the Lovely Blossoms Suite Collection. It comes with an embossing folder. If you buy the whole, like it's one number and you can get the whole thing. And the only discount you get by doing that is stamp and die sets are bundled, and you get a certain % off when you buy a stamp and die bundle together. And so that discount is also reflected in the bundle or in the collection. But you get the dies, an embossing folder, the Lovely Stripes embossing folder, which I love. I didn't use it on this card though. I did use it in the One Sheet Wonder series. Go check those out. And then this is the paper, and sorry, my printer is not very dark. I'm not sure what's going on with it, and then these are the dots, the jewels, and I have used a ton of these. In fact, I just ordered 3 more sets of these because I use them so much. We've got Secret Sea, which is a cross between black and navy, Night of Navy. This is Old Olive. This is Cloud Cover, which is a beautiful blue, and I think that's kind of a cross between Pool Party and Balmy Blue, maybe. And it has a little bit of gray in it, I believe. And then the white, shiny white. And the good thing about, I'll just give you a tip since I have these out. I've had a package open, but I don't know what I did with them. But you can take these white matte, they're called Moody Pallet Glossy Dots. But say I needed some jewels in, say, let me see what blends I have out here. Say I needed one in a darker blue, and this is Dark Blueberry Bushel. I can take my blends and I can color those. So I can create whatever color dots that I need, and I just take my alcohol marker and I just color around the dot and let it dry. And look at that beautiful blue, bright blue. And I could do that with any color of blends that I have to make my own colors. And I did that. I had to make some for a swap card that I was making, and I needed a different color, and I used the darker. Okay, so let's move on. Set those up here. Okay, so the ribbon that comes with this set is dreamy. It is beautiful. It ties beautifully. And like I said, you can go, I used these products in the One Sheet Wonder, Lovely Blossoms One Sheet Wonder, a couple of weeks ago. And so you can go check those out on my channel. And the new mini catalog is online and ready to be purchased from. And this goes till April. And we're not using the new products out of this, but I do have a card that's already made and ready to go, but like I said, I don't know what I did with the parts to it, so I'll have to find my envelope. I'm sure it got gathered up when I was doing my swaps for on stage. So, okay, so here's the card that we're making today. This is the card. And I loved this greeting because this could be a birthday or an anniversary or a wedding. And I just put on the inside, another wonderful year out here, and then celebrate on the inside. And this is a fun fold. And we're only, see, we only have this 3-inch panel that we're going to pop up or flip up for our card. And this, the colors are Petal Pink, and this is Secret Sea. And that's what we're going to use today. And I've cut all my parts, and then I'll show you some other versions that I made with it when we're done. This is the Reason to Celebrate. Really nice greetings. And the reason I chose Another Wonderful Year is because it fits so nicely in my, in my die. And I used the Spotlight on Nature dies. And and if you don't have those, I mean, I would suggest you get those if you have a die cutter. And if not, just use a circle punch. A circle punch works very well for making the nested circles. I was going to show it to you, but I must have put something away. Anyway, the Spotlight on Nature and the Stylish Shapes circles are what I used for this is the Spotlight on Nature, and they have all of these different circles, and then this is the Stylish Shapes, and it's just general shapes. I think it's squares and circles and maybe a tag. So that's why I used this, and that's another online exclusive product from January, and I started marking these so I know. And there's a lot of greetings on this, and it's $20, $20. And then this is the Lovely Arrangements, and I love this flower, and I don't know what it is. I wish I knew what flower that is. It kind of, I mean, the petals to me remind me of a dogwood flower, but it's not a dogwood. So I don't know. I mean, a dogwood has 4 petals, but it's the same like shape as, so I don't know. If anybody knows, I would love to know. Put it down in the comments. And we're also using the dies. And look at this focal point. I love this die. And then these will cut out your flowers. Here are some leaves. A little label and another label. And I did use these in the One Sheet Wonder. Check that out. And then this piece is also awesome. Now, you not only can use this as a focal point to cut the die, but you can also use it with your blending brushes and just cut a scrap out of white or, some piece of cardstock, and then use your blending brushes on it just to add a little dimension to your background. And you can see I had done that on a card, and it just leaves those little faint marks on your card base, on your white. Or, well, I guess you could use it also, I mean, like if you had Pool Party, you could use Pool Party ink, and it kind of makes like a watermark where it's not darker. It's a little darker of the same color is how it comes out. But anyway, and then keep a little envelope in your stamp and die set, and when you cut extras, just stick them in there, because you never know when you'll need some of the pieces. I always do that when I'm cutting labels and stuff, and I just keep, cut a couple extra while I'm cutting, and then I have some already ready when I need a quick label, when I'm making a quick card. So that is a good tip. And here's our dies. I always mark my dies with a gold dot, and that way I know when I see, well, it's supposed to be on the stamp. I think I have these. I have this in the envelope backwards, is why the gold is showing up here. Because usually I have the stamp set like this. There's my stamp. Okay, I have it like this. And then you see that little gold dot, meaning, hey, this has dies that goes with it. And then if I put another little, I use vinyl and I cut it on my Cricut, I cut out these little dots. And if it has like a green square, it means, hey, you've got an embossing folder. And if it's pink, it's, I have a punch, matching punch, pink punch. So that's what that little dot is. Okay, let's get to our card. And I had already stamped a few of these and thought, wait, I will save this and we'll use it for a card. Okay, so here's our pieces. And I will have the project sheet up either today or tomorrow. And that will give you all of the measurements and all of the products that I use to make this. See, there's that focal point. That is so cool. And if you don't want it quite that big, like I only need a small piece, just cut the, just round these as you cut, and you can cut, you know, make that into a smaller piece. But I love this piece. And then we're going to use the paper, and here's the paper that we're using. This is the designer paper, Lovely Blossoms. This is the sheet that I did the one sheet wonder with, and we made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We made 8 cards with this because I used this as a background for this. And then these 3 squares and these 3 squares we used in for another card. So go check that out, One Sheet Wonder. But I love this paper. I've bought several more packs. Now, if you're a scrapbooker, they sell scrapbook kits now, if you're not familiar. But look at these cute stickers that you could make your, put your scrapbook page together with. So you can also get these sticker sheets. And then here's our product sheet, and we have our product list. And I didn't put glue. You know, you need glue or some kind of adhesive, scissors. I didn't put those basic things on there. These are just like the stamps, the embellishments, the ink, that kind of stuff. And then here I'm going to give you the measurements and then the instructions to put it together. So go check out my blog, and you can, this is downloadable and you can print it. So let's go to our card now. So we're going to start out our card base with a piece of petal pink. And we're going to cut this at 11 inches. 11 inches. And then we're going to put this back in our cutter. We're going to put this in our trimmer. Oh, and we're going to score it at 5.5. 11 by 5.5. And then that gives you a 4 1/4 card. And then we're going to put this back in our trimmer down to, we're going to measure over 3 inches, and then we're going to cut just one side. We're going to cut one panel. And right away, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to glue this panel down. And I usually use green glue because it gives me time to move my stuff around. My room temperature is at 61. Well, it was at 61 when I came down here, so my glue looks like it's a little on the thick side. I should put all my glue in a little tub and take it upstairs with me at night, but I don't think about that. And then we've cut a piece of the Lovely Blossoms designer paper, and this one measures 1 inch by 5 1/4, because our card measures 5.5. So we're just going to cut 1/4 inch off, and it's just going to give us, see, a little bit of a border all the way around. See? So let's put that on. Now I did another card using this side of the paper, so I will show you that shortly. I don't like this cold weather. It is making the joint in my thumb hurt. Now see, I can slide this a little bit and get it squared up because the glue gives me a little bit of glide. So that's, looks like that's straight. So we'll smooth that down. Now we're going to stamp our piece and we'll put that inside and then that'll be all done. Let me grab my Secret C ink pad. And when my thumb joint starts hurting, sometimes I can't even open that. Let's see, and let's do most of our stamping all here at one time. I need the celebrations. I pulled out celebrations. And like I said, we can use that for several different events. Tap, tap, tap. Do not push down and, you know, really smush it in there because you get ink everywhere. Make sure I'm in the camera here. See if I can get this straight without sticking my head in the camera. Pretty good. Okay, we'll set that aside. And then I'm going to get my Petal Pink ink pad and I'm going to put some flowers at the bottom. And I already have my flowers pulled out. I have the small one that's facing up and then the full one. So we're going to put one of these here and we're going to go off the side. Looks like I needed a little more on this corner down here. I don't know if I can get this lined up without sticking my head in there. Okay. That's the beauty of the, you know, the photopolymer. You can see through, usually to stamp over it. Like I said, my ink pads, I think I should have, they don't like this cold down here. My project sheet. So it just gives a little bit of interest. I could take a blending brush and I could have, you know, made a little bit of blend up here or even down here and then stamped my flowers just for a little bit of extra interest. We'll set this aside. I'm going to go ahead, like I said, and stamp. And I pulled out a different circle die to put our greeting on, and I'm going to put Another Wonderful Year. And I've already got that pulled out. Okay, pull this down here where I can see. We're just going to put this in the middle. I just love how beautifully crisp that. Now we're going to pull our smaller flower again up here because we're going to stamp over the top of this. I'm going to let that dry for just a second. And I don't think I need any more ink, so I'm going to close this stamp pad up so I don't drop something in it. And then we're going to stamp our pink flower over the top of this. Beautiful. Set this aside. We'll close this ink pad up since we don't need it any longer. Let's go ahead and see, this was the Celebrate from the other stamp set that I used, but I wanted to try to keep it to just our 2 stamp sets. I did not want to pull in a third. So let's put our white, let me move this out of the way so I don't get ink where it's not supposed to be. It was 8 degrees and a negative, it says it feels like it was a -5, I think, or something this morning. I have to get some more glue. Hold on. Whoa, that one went flying. I hit it on my camera base. Yeah, see, that one's better. That other one was, I'm guessing there was so little in the glue thing that it was gumming up, really. And we're going to put this right here. And it looks like I cut this wrong. Well, we're going to go with it. I will. That should have been cut at 5 1/4, and I think I couldn't I didn't want to use this one. I wanted to redo it. So see, I should have cut it just a tiny bit longer, but I'm going to leave it. I'm sure that my daughter-in-law or whoever I sent would not mind that that's cut a tiny bit different. Let's put our next piece of designer paper on, and it measures 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. That just gives us 1/4 of an inch all the way around. I want my top, bottom, sides all to match. And I want this to kind of line up there. Okay, and then we're going to put on our focal point. And I wanted it to kind of, this is a little bit probably off center, but I wanted it to stick over just a little bit. And I'm just going to put a few dots of glue here. Now I don't want anything that's going to cross this line, so nothing over here. I only want glue. Just to put a dot of glue. And we're going to center this about, well, we're not centering it because it's a little off center. But let's put it about right there. And then we're going to take our Secret C. You can see the little ridges here, which gives it some visual interest. And I love this circle. It's great for layering. And we're going to glue it on, and I'm only going to put glue on this side so I don't want anything that's going to, you know, seal this where I can't open it. And if we got glue clear over there, that would. Now I want a little bit of this to hang over, so I'm going to put it about right there. Make sure I didn't have any glue there. If you do get glue where it's not supposed to be, and I'll show you in a minute a card that I pulled the greeting off today because I didn't like where it was. And, you know, it had been glued down. So it's like, what am I going to cover the glue with? Well, as long as your glue is dry, you can use what they call a glue eraser, adhesive eraser. And I just got this at the Dollar Tree. And you can just rub the glue off and it just sticks to this. And you can see it didn't, I just pull like the corners. Like if I feel like it's accumulating, I just pull the corners off or take my scissors and just cut it off. But that works really good. Okay, now here's our greeting and we're going to pop it up. We're going to use some dimensionals. What did I do with the dimensionals? I laid them out here. Well, we'll just grab some more. I don't know how things disappear when you're in the process of making something. It just blows my mind. I mean, I just had them here. I just laid them out. I got a set of, oh, there they are. They're over by my iPad. Okay, now we have used all of the ones, you know, you can bend your thing and pull them off. We've used all those. So here's what you do next. And I don't use my good scissors for this, but I use my old ones. We just cut little pieces, and I think I show you this probably on every video, but we're making use of all of it. Do not throw. I saw somebody in a class one time, and after they used, you know, all of these, they pitched this piece into the trash, and I was like, oh yeah, no, we use all of it. We cut it up, and it doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter what shape your dimensional is in, it'll fit anyway. So we're going to put 2 of these on here. We don't need a ton. I mean, it's small. It's not gonna bend in the middle or anything. And then we're gonna take off our pieces, and I usually use my take your pick tool for that, but since I just have these couple. Now, if I'm mailing something, I might put a little more dimensionals, like on a panel like this. I might put dimensionals, a couple like in the middle, so that it, you know, doesn't collapse in the mail. But now we're just going to center this. Come over a little bit more. And dimensionals, I mean, they can really stick. So if you want to move something, twist it. Just twist it and it'll come right off. So I need to get, let's see if I can get over this with my, okay, that looks closer. Okay, now we're going to take our little leaf and we're going to put some glue on the back side here and the front side here. Because I'm not sure if that's going to, now I'm going to stick this under, just going to poke it under. Oh, it's going to hit my dimensionals, it looks like. Okay. And I'm just going to poke it down there like that and let it sit. So that pretty much is our card. I mean, that is pretty easy. We only had to cut our 2 strips of designer paper, die cut our focal point, and they don't have to use this one. If you don't have the stamp set and you want to make this card, you have the paper, you can use a rectangle or a couple of circles. You don't have to use this piece. You can just cut another piece of designer paper and make a focal point out of that. So use what you have, or, I mean, if you really love this set, I'd be glad to have you visit my store and order from me. I would love that, unless you already have a demonstrator, and then go through your demonstrator. And we're going to put a few jewels on here. And I think we will use the Night of Navy, or the Secret Sea. I see I keep intermixing these, but I think I liked the Night of Navy the best. And we'll put one on our focal point here. And then I'm going to put, I think, 3 more. I'm going to put one up here. I'm going to put one over here. And then I'm going to take a bigger one and I'm going to put it down here. And I don't think I'm going to, you know, that's too perfectly organized. So I'm going to put it down here. And there's our card. We could have added some ribbon to it if we wanted to. But I think that's a pretty card, and I think anyone would enjoy getting that card. Now, I will show you some of the other cards that I made. And of course, if you like to stamp on your envelopes, take that flower and stamp it down in the corner of your envelope. In fact, let's do that. I'm going to grab my I think I'm going to use Petal Pink. And let's just put this down in the corner. And it just gives it a little bit of fun. Don't you like to get decorated envelopes in the mail? And we'll stick this one on the back. Now, we could have taken a piece of designer paper and glued it, piece of designer paper, and glued it on here and then just cut around it, and then we would have had a decorated flap. So here's our card with our decorated envelope. Okay, and then here is the one that I made with the using this from the Stylish Shapes dies. It just has a little bit of edging around it. And then, now here's one that I just flipped this over and used the back side, and I used the Secret Sea as my background because it didn't seem like this popped very much on the Petal Pink. It just kind of got lost. So there's using the other piece of the designer paper, and I think that's the back of one of this one. I think it's the back of the navy. And then here's one where I did the same, except I used What a Party And I think I still used, yeah, Celebrate on the inside. But I took a little bit of the Petal Pink blending brush, and I just blended a little bit on it. I don't know that I love it, but, you know, doesn't hurt to try something new. And I also used the designer paper to make my die cut here, just for something a little different. I like the darker, I think. That's my favorite, would be that using the solid color on that. But still, I would be glad to get that card. And then I was playing around, when I was first designing the card, I was playing around trying to come up with, you know, a different focal point. And so here I used another set of dies, and this is the one that I told you I had it up here like this, and I decided I didn't like it. So I pulled it off, and you can't tell where it was because I used that glue. There's a little piece right there that I need to rub off, but I just used this on it, and it just pulled the glue right off. It just rolled right off. So get you one of these, and I just put a little piece of ribbon, and these are just panels. Like I just cut 5 1/4 panels. I mean, it's all cut the same length, and then I just I think I put a whole sheet of this and then put this on top of it because these match perfectly. So I think that's what I did. But I didn't like this off to the side, so I'm going to put it back on. And I will show you these jewels. These jewels are beautiful, and they're from the Lovely and Beautiful set. And I have already gone through a package and a half because I used them on some swap cards that I'm making. Was not my favorite set of jewels, but when it came in the collection, I thought, oh man, those are gorgeous. And it worked so well on the card that I was making, which was the card I was going to show you today, but I don't know what I did with the cut pieces. But I like that, I think, a little better. But I do like, see, this was layered and used the dark base. But this set is so versatile, and then I used just a bigger piece here. So that's my cards using the Lovely, it's the Lovely Arrangements, the Lovely Arrangements stamp set and the Lovely Blossoms designer paper. And I think it's called the Lovely Blossom Suite, but it's got beautiful papers in it. The colors that are included in this kit are Petal Pink, Old Olive, Petal Pink, Cloud Cover, Secret Sea, and Crumb Cake. So it's not a huge color palette, but I think the limited palette, I love this. I love this. So thanks everybody, and be sure to give me a like. I really appreciate that. I'm trying to build my channel. It's fairly new. I've only been on for a few months. I used to do my streaming in a private Facebook group just for my customers, and I was encouraged to branch out because they loved my cards. So I finally bit the bullet and decided to go to YouTube. So I would appreciate if you would help me build. I would like to get to 100 in the month of February. I'm close. I'm at 80 something, and I would appreciate your help. So leave me a comment. Which card did you like best? Did you like the Navy, Secret Sea, on the pink, Petal Pink, or do you like the Petal Pink on the Secret Sea? I think I like the Petal Pink on this one, but I don't know. It's a toss-up. You tell me what you like. Thanks for joining me, and I will be back soon with another card. Thanks. Have a great day.